of the most wonderful things I've ever seen you in was Rupert Gould's Macbeth in London. When you got up at one point, you went to the fridge and you made a sandwich. And I was just wondering if you've ever come across a line that you feel this really terrible distance from, and how you kind of find the truth in that line. Sorry, it's a light question.
Thank you. I wasn't quite sure whether the reference to the sandwich making was a question or just a comment.
It's just a comment, really.
But yes, it remains for me one of the most delightful moments I've ever spent on stage. And there are not many delightful moments playing Macbeth. But I do recall saying to Rupert Gould in the rehearsal room one day, "Lord, I stand here talking. You know, the scene is where he is persuading these two men, the two murderers they're called, to murder Banquo and his child. It's a brutal and savage scene of corrupting two other individuals to perform a horrendous task. And I said to Rupert, I wish the hell I had something to do instead of standing talking. And because we had a refrigerator on stage and we were in a sort of kitchen, Rupert, I guess, taking that as his inspiration, said to me, why don't you make a sandwich? And I will adore him for the rest of my time for that suggestion. And indeed, that's just what we did. In the middle of this scene, something so everyday and ordinary as cutting a loaf of bread and putting on butter and layers of ham and mustard. And when we were in New York doing it, especially huge New York pickles as well. But that play is full of those moments that you're asking about. How can you say each night I am in blood stepped in so far that were I to wade no further, returning were as tedious as go o'er, and mean it every night? And if you do mean it, then there is a cost, a price to be paid for entering into that blackness night after night, 8 times a week as we did it, and in fact for 365 days, which I always thought was very creepy, that we did that play for exactly 365 days. But there doesn't seem to be an alternative to not entering into that heart of the emotion, of the mental disturbance, of the ambition and cruelty and brutality. You simply have to find all of that, as Ronald Eyre encouraged me with The Winter's Tale, within yourself and let it out. I feel it's kind of appropriate, maybe not, I don't know, I shall learn later, to point out that sitting here listening to this is the woman who agreed to have a date with me, having seen me play Macbeth on that stage one night. I mean, that night, not a week or two later when she had time to rethink, but that night. Thank you, Sonny. I wouldn't have gone.